What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the NFL Takeover podcast brought to you by the Takeover Sports Network. I am Chris LaValle, and I'm alongside Lord Landon, the fantasy god, Justice, once again this week. This week, we are going to be discussing the Jets, Bills, Chargers, Falcons, Packers, Lions, Dolphins, Bears, and Bengals, Panthers games, along with previewing the Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football games. But before we can do that, we have to talk to you guys about our buddies over at Prize Picks, who have an exciting offer for all of our listeners and viewers, new users. That deposit and use the promo code TAKEOVER will receive a 100% instant deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks is the fun and easy way to play daily fantasy. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times in any entry. Prize Picks has a ton of stats to choose from, including points, rebounds, assists, 3 points made in, fantasy points, and more. Prize Picks offers every sport you can think of, like NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, soccer, MMA, and more. Prize Picks also allows mixed sports entries. For example, you can take the over on Steph Curry's points combined with the under on Josh Allen's passing yards in the same entry. Prize Picks has an award-winning, easy-to-use mobile app, which you can find both on the App Store and Google Play, and entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It is that easy. So if you're looking for a fun and easy way to play daily fantasy, don't forget to use Prize Picks, and don't forget to use the promo code TAKEOVER so that they know that we sent you. That's Prize Picks, promo code TAKEOVER. I really like Elmo. Elmo's what's up. I like that a lot. All right, we're going to kick it off. The Jets stunned the Bills. It was an ugly game. Zach Wilson, 18 of 25 for 154 yards and a touchdown. Josh Allen was 18 of 34 for 205 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. He had 86 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. The Jets defense smothered the Bills in the second half. They held Buffalo to 3 points, and Allen, I think it suffices to say, easily played his worst game of the season so far this year.
You want it or me? There's a lot to say about that. I mean, I'll take it. I would say, because coming into this week, there was definitely, I mean, everybody knew the Jets defense was something. They had something kind of going. I mean, Sauce was out there just playing his heart out. He was balling. This was their real test. I mean, that Bills offense is no joke. You got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and just, I mean, they added Hines. They didn't use him, but, I mean, it was still, that's an offense that you expect some firepower out of, and they made them look normal. Like, that's a team that, you know, everybody has put them as their either first or second choice of the AFC's Super Bowl, you know, favorite. So, and for the Jets to come out here as a team with, you know, a lot of people have such low expectations for them, that's big. This is a big, you know, like, that's a confidence booster for them. And it definitely put the league on, I think it put people on notice for that, to put them at I would say today they were the top 3 defense that, you know, in the league looking at them.
It puts me on notice. I mean, I was saying last week that the Jets are frauds. So I'm wondering, and I put it in our group chat, is Zach Wilson a poor man's Mark Sanchez? And is this like the second coming of Rex Ryan's defense? Because that's kind of how it feels, is that this team is got a top 5, top 3 defense. And they have at best, game manager at quarterback. I don't even know if Zach Wilson deserves the moniker of game manager, because I don't even think he's that good. But
yeah, I don't know.
Still, I mean, if Wilson can play like he played today, because he didn't turn the ball over, if he can play like he played today, manage the game, not turn the ball over, and if that defense can shut down Josh Allen in that offense the way that they did,
I mean, if they can shut down any offense that way, it's right. I mean, you're not winning a game when where you can't even. He was barely able to get the ball to Diggs, and I don't even think that Sauce was the one guarding him. It was just I said it in the chat, he elevates the rest of that team so much because he is out there doing work to where everybody else now is like, oh, we got to do this. We got to catch up too.
He's becoming Revis Island. I mean, he really is. He's got that type of mojo. And I mean, he was one of the guys who picked off Allen today. So he's continuously just ball hawking out there. So, I mean, look, I think the Jets are the Jets definitely took a massive step forward. You know, I don't think they're going to catch the Bills for the East. I'm not concerned. If I'm the Bills, I'm not concerned.
That's a young defense. So I think in the years to come, if they play this right, maybe not necessarily just next year, but the year after that, if they keep going with this, they could have a pretty, solid, scary team. You get the right quarterback back there, you get the right weapons on offense, and keep that defense healthy and keep that defense together and playing the way they do. I mean, I don't see any reason why they would have any other downfall in that. So,
All right. So the Packers slump continues. They lost 15-9 to the Lions. Jared Goff, 14-26 for 137 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Aaron Rodgers was 23 of 43 for 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. He led the Packers in rushing for 40 yards. The Packers have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. My question is, why the hell is Aaron Rodgers leading the team in rushing?
Because he's got to do all of it. He's got to do everything.
So, I mean, my question now is turning into, have we all just overrated Matt Lefluer? I mean, did we all just kind of, because nobody liked, what's his face, Mike McCarthy. Everyone was like, he sucks. And obviously he's shown that in Dallas. He's not a very good coach. So then Lefluer came in and the Packers surged the last few seasons with Lefluer as head coach. But was it always just Rodgers? It was just a different face at head coach? Because I haven't seen any type of adjustments that Lefluer has made offensively speaking. And again, when Aaron Rodgers is your leading rusher, and again, you have Aaron Jones as a running back.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Against the worst defense in football.
Yeah, I was watching that and I was kind of, I didn't really know what to say. I mean, it was a joke at first, and then I was just like, what's happening actually? Because I did not expect that whatsoever. But what I did notice is, personally, I think it's everybody's fault. It's everybody's. It's the coaching. It's also on Rodgers. I know you love him, but the coaching and that staff did not get him the weapons that he needs. You get rid of Devontae Adams, and then you replace him with what? Alan Lazard? Who's he supposed to throw to? He's got nobody out there that is just a dominant on-the-field guy. So he has nobody that he has that connection with. And what made him and Devontae Adams so good was because they both knew, all right, I'm going to flick my pinky this way, and exactly. You're going to run this go route, and you're going to cut over here, and I'm putting the ball there. You're going to turn. Today you saw that when he threw that, he was trying to throw that corner route, and there was nobody there. Because the receiver they don't have that relationship, which is on the fact that he doesn't have guys that he feels he can trust that way, but also it's on him in the sense that what you have, where who your guys are. Maybe they're not going to sit here and all be Devontae Adams. Maybe they're not all going to be, superstars, but you got to do what you got to do with what you have. So you need to build that relationship to where those guys know, hey, when I do this, I want you over there. After that, that's all you can do. That way, you
made a point in our chat. You were talking about the chemistry issues and the fact that it's clear that there is no chemistry between Rodgers and his receivers.
He trusts no one on that team but himself at this point. And that's probably why he leads the league. Oh my gosh, leads his team in rushing, because he's just like, well, I don't know that these guys are going to catch it. I don't know that this guy's going to get the first down, but guess what? I know that my old legs are going to make it there. So
right.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, the season's over for the Packers. This was pretty much the death knell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no way they're going to make the postseason. And if, like I said in our chat, if I was Rodgers, I'd be demanding a trade at the end of the season. I would take a pay cut to whatever team would take me at this point, because this is not how he wants to end his career. You can't want to stay in Green Bay anymore. They did nothing for him at the trade deadline. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that was bad. I saw that they tried to get Claypool, but they got outbid by Chicago.
Give me a break.
What do you have in Chicago? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought that story was very conveniently leaked all of a sudden after the fact. They're like, oh, yeah, we made a play for Darren Waller and Chase Claypool. And I was like, and you got outbid?
Yeah, and you gave them nothing?
So how hard did you really try to get them?
You could have at least tried to get anything. Any player. Maybe Detroit maybe would have even tried to give you a Mon-Ra or something. I don't know. He could have tried for somebody.
You could have looked at Houston. Cooks is desperate to get out.
Yeah. Cooks can't wait. They literally had to keep that dude out of a game to keep him from leaving.
Right. So, yeah, the Packers, the season, though, is just, it's over. It's not, it's unfortunate. It's unsalvageable, though, at this point. And, yeah, it's gonna be an ugly winter in Green Bay. Yeah. So the Chargers showed up. They survived a scare in Atlanta 20-17. Justin Herbert was 30-43 for 245 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Mariota was 12-23 for 129 yards. The Chargers offense had a solid game given that they're missing their two top receivers in Williams and Allen due to injury. Austin Eckler was once again the stud of this offense. He had 71 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. I thought a welcome sign for Atlanta was the fact that Patterson's back. He had 53 all-purpose yards and 2 TDs. So I thought that was good. I mean, obviously it's great for fantasy owners too, but I mean just in general for Atlanta, you've now got an extra little element to your offense.
So even aside from fantasy, Patterson being back gives them just a grown man. Like we all saw him just completely lower his shoulder and just lower the boom on, I don't know who the heck it was that tried to make that tackle, but he sat right down. And
no, he bodies people.
Yeah, he's a big guy. That's a grown man right there. Like the most grown of grown men.
Yeah, it's like he's like it reminds me kind of, he's built like Todd Gurley. Like just that solid, just brick.
Yep. And I mean, he's definitely just amazing, just universal type of player. So I think that definitely bodes well for them. I mean, speaking of Eckler, I've always loved the guy, not just from fantasy, but he's just a fun guy to watch because he's
so underrated.
You give him the ball and he just does what he does. He's just like, I don't care about the flashy stuff. I don't care about this. I'm not going to dance. I'm going to one move. I'm going to move, and then I'm going to go forward.
I do. I think he's criminally underrated. Whenever we talk about top running backs, he's never at the top of the list, and he should be.
Yeah.
He's so damn dynamic. I don't know what to make of either one of these teams. I think both the Chargers and the Falcons, to me, can go either way. You could, if you told me I think both teams can make the playoffs, I will agree with you. If you tell me both teams are going to miss the playoffs, I will agree with you, because it really, these teams are like any given week. I feel like they can win a game or they're going to lose a game. But Atlanta has, I will give them this more so than the Chargers, because I think the Chargers are still a disappointment, even though they are 5-3. Atlanta has already exceeded expectations. I think most people thought they were going to be sprinting with Houston to try to get the first pick. So the fact that they're in first place in their division, I think, is huge.
Yeah. Mariota didn't do, I mean, I wouldn't say he put up superstar numbers, but honestly, he's been a little bit overlooked as far as how he's been doing for that offense, because he's held his own well enough. He's not a guy that's going to win you championships in that, but he's gonna get you there, keep you there in the game. He's going to win some games, and he's going to, sustain. It's just other guys need to step it up with him as well. So, I mean,
if he stays healthy, they're in good shape. I mean, and health with him has always been a question mark too, but he's got a good offensive line for the most part. He hasn't really been running for his life unless it's called for a quarterback scramble, but you don't see him running around out there like Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
He's, he's back there, and he's not to hit the Kyler Murray topic again, but no, but I mean, overall though, Mariota has played within the offense. He's not doing anything insane. And I've been really impressed with him this season. I think the Falcons have a really good shot. I don't understand they lost the game, but I still think they have a shot to make the postseason.
Yeah, that was a close game. That's not even like they got like beasted out. That was a very, very close game. So, I mean, you can't really take too much from them on that.
No, not at all. Miami escaped Chicago with a victory, 35-32, in what may have been the most entertaining game of the day. Tua was 21-30 for 302 yards and 3 touchdowns. Justin Fields was 17-28 for 123 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 178 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. He single-handedly kept the Bears in this game. He broke the NFL rushing record for a quarterback in a regular season game. Vic previously held the record since 2002 with 173 yards. He's the fifth quarterback to eclipse 150 yards in a regular season game, which this list includes Lamar Jackson, Kaepernick, Vic, and some guy named Tobin Rote, who I had never heard of before. On the Dolphins side, Hill had 7 receptions for 143 yards and a touchdown. Waddle had 5 receptions for 85 yards and a touchdown. And Tua continues to impress. I don't get it. Tua is just really good. I didn't think Tua had it in him. I thought coming into this season, he was just going to continue to be inaccurate with the football. He wasn't going to be able to put it together, and he was going to be a bust.
It's hard to be inaccurate when you have a guy that you can literally just throw it up in the skies for, and he's just like, yeah, I'll go get that.
That's fair. Yeah. It does help to have like the fastest guy in the NFL on your team, but still, I mean, he's
making those plays still, which is impressive.
He's accurate. He's fixed whatever accuracy issues he's had in the past in this offseason, and he looks great. This offense is tremendous. Defense, not so much, but their offense is really good.
Yeah. Tua was definitely impressive. He was, I mean, it's been nice watching him kind of, sit out there and put up the numbers that he's putting up, make the plays that he's making and stuff. But actually, talking about the other side, Fields is kind of a bane in my existence right now a little bit, only for fantasy reasons, because I'm just like, did I make a mistake? But either way, I was really impressed with what he did today. Because that's a team that literally, after the trades that they made, other than picking up Chase Claypool, I thought that they were just kind of like, yeah, we're tanking it. We're done. It's game over. We're not going to be able to do anything. You got rid of the stars on your defense. You had gotten rid of Khalil Mack before the season. You got rid of Roquan Smith. You got rid of, Robert Quinn. And I was just like, well, that's that for them. But it seems like nobody left Fields the memo. Nobody, he never caught the memo because he was out there just putting it on his back. And I know me and you had a conversation earlier about just he's a back and forth type of guy where sometimes he's just shows these flashes of like a superstar, and other times it just looks like he's just not making the right decisions to be an NFL quarterback. He's just kind of like doesn't seem in his place. So it was really good to see him just kind of, maybe he hacked our text thread and got a little angry with that and just decided to make some plays on it. But it was nice to see it.
I think so. And here's the thing. I'll say this because we talked about it, obviously, like you said. And I've given Fields a rough time whenever I've been on this podcast, and I've trashed him and said he shouldn't be a starter in the league. He sucks. He doesn't suck. Skill-wise, he doesn't suck. Skill-wise, he is as good and as dangerous of a dual threat as Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. You put him out, anybody else you want to put out there that's a dual threat. Lamar, you name it, he's there. He's in that conversation. It's the IQ, the football IQ that drives me insane. And it goes back to what you're saying. There are times where you watch him and you sit back and you go, holy crap. Like, this guy is incredible skill set wise. He's huge. He's a beast. I mean, what is he? 6'5", 6'4"? Like, he's huge.
Yeah, I don't know what his physical size is, but I know that he's got the strength to be able to move the ball. So when they're on those goal line positions, he can fight for those yards. He's got the arm enough to be able to put the ball out there. And sometimes he has the accuracy. Sometimes he's a little bit floaty with it. But he has the abilities. He just doesn't always have the smarts to say, maybe I don't put this ball into that much coverage. Maybe I just run the ball because nothing is open. He seems like, from the games that I've watched him play in, like, he is the guy where coach calls in the play, he runs that play. And it takes the sky falling for him to decide to do anything else. He is just, coach told me to throw the ball right there. That's where I'm putting the ball, and that's that. That's that. I don't care if there's 6 dudes just staring at me, and even my receiver's not there. I'm putting the ball there. So that's how it's always looked. Not how it's always looked, but that's how he looks sometimes. And that's what worries me about him.
Yeah, I mean, I think to go off of that, that's been my thing with the football IQ thing. Is I always feel like this is my number one read. This is where I'm going with the ball. It doesn't matter. It's like he doesn't go through his progressions. This is who I'm supposed to throw the ball to. This is who I'm throwing the ball to. There's never like okay, well, he's clearly triple covered. I got this, but this guy over here in the flat's wide open. I could just easily check down here, and there's 10 yards.
I mean, you've got some pretty dang talented running backs out there as well in that team that he could easily just be, all right, dump it off and let him do some work.
So where do you think Fields ends up? Let's say in 2 or 3 years down the road, do you think he continues to mature and evolve his game and actually remains a franchise quarterback for Chicago? Or do you think Chicago eventually is just going to be like, okay, this kid just can't win games? And while he's super talented, he's just not going to be the guy for it.
So I think that this season, so far, what he's shown shows that he has the talent. It depends on Chicago's front office, honestly, because nobody ever knows what the heck those guys are going to do or what they're even thinking. But I think that years down the road, it depends on next season. What he does to finish out this season and going into next season is going to be what's going to define him. Because right now they are at hey, we're sellers. We're not, we don't expect to make any playoff games. We don't expect to really do much. We just want to show improvement each week and just get better with the guys that we have. They'll go into the draft. They'll pick up some guys. Hopefully they'll get them some real weapons. Hopefully they'll build on that team. I'd love to see him make the strides that other quarterbacks who have been challenged the way that he have made. I don't think he's going to make a Jalen Hurts style like transformation where next season suddenly this dude's just leading the league and turns iconic. I don't know what voodoo god Jalen Hurts went to become what he became now, but I'm cool with it. But I just also feel like that's not something that I see for him. I see him improving. And who else are they going to pick up? CJ Stroud?
Double down on Ohio State?
Yeah, double down on Ohio State.
All right. I did want to ask you, and I know this is going to be kind of a trick question, and not really a trick question because it's your team. Who do you think is going to end up being the better pro? I'll put it to you this way: Tua or Jalen? I said, who's going to be the better pro, Tua or Jalen? Who's going to have the better career?
Who ends higher on the list, basically, is what you think. Is what you're trying to ask.
Sure.
I think people will, because so far, people have had more conversation about Tua than they have Jalen. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tua was just one of those guys that everybody just had such higher expectations. So it's probably going to be harder to say, like, oh, well, Jalen's they're always gonna see Tua as like, oh well, he was the higher guy, he's definitely the better quarterback and all of that, but not really as much look at the numbers and stuff. Not just because of my fandom, but because of the system and the environment and basically the house he's in. I think Jalen's going to end up better off because Philadelphia has very much impressed me with the picks they've made, the decisions they've made for that team. Miami seems like they are just kind of like Tua. All Tua has to do is whip it up in the air and somebody will come down with it and it'll work out type of thing. Like that seems kind of their mentality. And until they show me that they can make better decisions for themselves and for their team and build their team a lot stronger, I feel like they've kind of just they lucked out. They ended up with Tariq and Tua ended up with this like good chemistry that really has worked. They're they're playing backyard ball and it's working well. But I don't think that I think that eventually teams are going to get used to that. They're going to realize what's going on. They're going to catch on to it, and they're going to stop it. They're going to stop it, and they need to do more for me to believe that they're going to build for Tua. I think that honestly, the two of those quarterbacks are neck and neck as far as talent goes.
Okay.
I never say that I would trade Jalen Hurts for Tua, but if Jalen got hurt and God forbid we had to pick up anybody else, I would take him. I'd let him come play in Philly because I think that we wouldn't have much of a drop off.
Okay, fair enough. Bengals roll the Panthers 42-21. Burrow was 22-28 for 206 yards, 1 touchdown, plus 1 rushing TD. PJ Walker was 3 of 10 for 9 yards and 2 picks. He was benched after the first half. And Baker Mayfield came in. He was 14 of 20 for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. This game was over at halftime. It was 35-0. That's not why I want to talk about this game. I want to talk about Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, why are we even mentioning Burrow?
Had himself a ball game. He had 22 carries, 153 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the ground. He had 4 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown. His 5 total touchdowns set a franchise record. Congratulations. If you had him in fantasy, you won your week. The Panthers looked abysmal. Burrow was only sacked twice all game. So if the O-line can keep Burrow clean, I still think the Bengals are a dangerous team in the AFC.
Yeah.
But Joe Mixon is nasty. My goodness.
Yeah.
Is Joe
or
Mixon
if they can
incredible.
continue to block for Mixon the way that because you congratulate Mixon. Congratulate his line as well because
Fair enough.
they're not blocking the way that they do. He's not. He might not be making it across the line of scrimmage as clean as he was on some of them or having the time that he does. So, I personally think that, if they can really get that line to play the way they did today and him to play the way they did, Burrow doesn't even have to worry about really it's all check down passes at that point because that your run game is strong. And once your run game's strong, that's what people are focusing on. You can go over the top on anybody at that point because they're just making sure that you don't get the easy money, basically. So, yeah.
Do you like this Bengals offense? Do you think they're good? Or are you still wishy-washy on them?
I think that, when they play like they did today, granted it was against the Panthers, but I think that when they play like they did today, where they are not trying to pretend that, Jamar Chase is still out there, I think that they're doing great. But you can't always depend on, give Burrow a break. Let him get the ball out of his hands quick, and that's how you're going to succeed. So when they play like that, I love it. I think they're, right back in the playoff race. I don't know if I'm saying that they're going to make it to the AFC Championship, but I definitely think that they can put up a little bit of a fight. So, yeah.
Okay. Before we get to our Sunday night football prediction or Monday night football prediction, the Tom Brady finally woke up and in 45 seconds drove the Bucs down the field to pretty much score the game-winning touchdown. It's now 16-13 with 9 seconds left in the game. So Brady finally decided that he didn't want to be 3-6 on the season and woke up. Real quick, the Seahawks. What's that?
He didn't go for a divorce for this.
The Seahawks beat the Cardinals 31-21. Let me find the box score real quick. Let's see. Geno Smith was 26-34 for 2 touchdowns and a pick. Kenneth Walker had 26 carries for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyler Murray was 25-35 for 2 touchdowns, and he also had 60 rushing yards. He didn't turn the ball over. So there's that.
Yeah.
I think the Seahawks team is fun to watch. I've been trolling Richo about Geno Smith all season, but he actually is playing really well.
I'm not buying it.
You're not buying it?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. I was like, look, man, I don't want to buy it either, but they're good. They're 6-3.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me, but the Cardinals suck and they're going to miss the playoffs. So, and I think Cliff Kingsbury doesn't make it at the end of the season. I think he's definitely getting fired. So there we go.
I don't I have no idea for those guys. I'm still processing the fact that, I mean, I knew if you told me that it was just Kenneth Walker out here putting up a bunch of yards, I'd be like, all right, yeah, rookie sensation. He's just killing it. But Geno putting up the numbers that he's putting up. I mean, yeah, we knew the guy could throw. We knew he could score touchdowns. He was great in college. And then with the Jets, he was, we don't talk about that. But I still just, oh, hey, Matt.
What's going on, boys?
Yeah, who invited this?
What do you want?
I just wanted to come on here and talk about Tom Brady's excellence.
Okay. We just did, but go ahead.
Yeah, you're too late, as always.
Well, good.
Go ahead.
About time you gave the man some credit. He is the GOAT, after all.
We mean give him credit. What are you talking about? I always give him credit.
You've been poo-pooing him all year.
Matt, he showed up in one game.
I'm sick and tired of it.
One game. What's the record?
He just took 44 seconds to drive down 70 yards against this Rams defense. Aaron Donald never even sneezed on him. He's hitting Stevie Miller on the sideline. He goes down there with time to spare and puts it in the end zone.
How good has the Rams defense been this season? Again, remind me real quick.
They still have Donald and Jalen Ramsey and a bunch of other guys that are incredible.
That's not the question.
The Rams defense.
I've never heard of them.
I can cherry pick defensive players too. Look, man. Look. Brady finally woke up. He didn't want to be 3-6.
Talk about Ramsey. Who leads the league in interceptions?
He's still the GOAT. Probably Darius Slay, based on how you're talking about it. I love your Elmo.
Yeah. Elmo disapproves of your statements, Matthew.
Elmo's already a more pure Philly fan.
Go back to fantasy jail. All right.
Listen, I don't want to talk. I want no conversation about fantasy. I just came on here to say that was absolutely astonishing.
James Bradbury, by the way. Your team.
Real quick.
God, that's right. I hate you so
since
much.
you're on, you can do this right now. So we're going to do a Sunday Night Football prediction and a Monday Night Football prediction. So Sunday Night Football is Titans at Chiefs. Chiefs are a 13.5-point favorite at home.
Yeah, I'll take Chiefs minus the points.
You like the Chiefs to blow them out?
Yep.
All right. What about you? Elmo, what do you think?
Elmo says.
Elmo's never betting against the Chiefs. We've lost too much doing that.
Well, look, I would take the Chiefs in the points too. I think without
I give you a 15.
Well, look, I mean,
Tannehill's not playing.
Malik Willis struggled against the Texans last week. It's going to be ugly against the Chiefs. It just is.
They've had to become one-dimensional,
right?
With the exception of Robert Woods.
It's yeah.
Get out of here with your Bobby Trees.
It's unfortunately Henry or bust. And then Monday Night Football, we got Ravens at Saints. The Ravens are a 2-point favorite on the road. I like the Ravens in this game.
I can't believe the line's not higher.
Yeah, I can't either.
What about Andy Dalton and the Saints makes you think that this is going to be a close game?
I think it's the fact that it's in New Orleans. It's prime time.
Yeah, that does change a little bit.
The Saints, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is always lit up at night games. It's like LSU. Same thing.
Yeah, does that matter at all to Lamar Jackson? No, it does not.
I didn't say it mattered to Lamar Jackson. I am just saying that it is a raucous place to play. That's all I'm putting out there.
I think this is a tremendously disrespectful line to the Ravens.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, they don't know how to hold on to leads, so I don't really know if it's that disrespectful.
That's my only concern is that they do not have a great reputation of hanging in there. So if New Orleans keeps this thing close, which, I mean, they've still got players out there. Yeah, it's Andy Dalton. But at the same time, you still got Alvin Kamara, who has shown that he has the ability to make plays. Maybe he doesn't do it all the time, but he's got the ability.
Landon, do you have something against the audience seeing the top of your head? You're like,
I don't know. Jeez.
You're like almost out of the frame. Dude's like up here.
Okay, fine. Whatever. This better?
You're doing a great job. You're podcast rookie. It's okay.
So I asked Landon this. I want to ask you this, and then we'll wrap it up. We were talking about Justin Fields.
I was just about to ask you if you talked about Justin Fields.
We talked about
this
Justin
entire
Fields.
30 minutes.
And we talked about how we both say that he is unbelievably talented, physically speaking. His skills are awesome, but his low football IQ is what kills us all the time. So I asked him, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you think that he is able to mature enough and keep building on let's say on today's performance, and become the Bears franchise QB, or do you think the Bears end up moving on from him in the next couple of years?
Throw out today and look at what he's done over the last 3 weeks of football, and I think the answer to your question is yes. I think that we judged him fairly through a year and a half, and I think he was really bad, and I think he's still got a lot of room to improve. However, much like some other young quarterbacks that we've seen, Jalen Hurts did this at an accelerated pace. It took Daniel Jones much longer. I think we've seen some of these young guys really just like have the physical tools to do it, but be super far behind on the mental aspects of football. And I think the same could be said for Fields, but he's shown progress. And Bears fans have a reason to feel good because this team actually has some assets now, some weapons. They have a ton of draft picks coming up, a ton of cap space coming up. I'll never understand why they just give away their best defensive players all the time. Like Roquan Smith is literally the best linebacker in football. And they were like, hey, Baltimore, you want him? But, over $100 million in cap space, ton of picks. Claypool's there now. I think this is a promising future for Justin Fields and for the Bears. The question becomes, can he become a player that's not just electric sometimes, but consistently good and can win you games all the time?
Who would you rather have, Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields?
Trevor Lawrence, but
okay. I just want to ask.
Who was pretty damn good himself today, although he didn't have the 148 yards on the ground that Fields did. You got something to say over there, Elmo?
No, he's good. He's good.
Elmo. Read you a little poop.
All right, you guys got anything else? Matt, do you have anything else you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
No, just shame on the Packers.
Thank you.
Shame on the Packers. Everybody should be fired. Tear down Lambeau Field. There shouldn't even be a football team in Green Bay anymore.
Exit the podcast.
They don't deserve one.
It's me freaking murdered.
Dude, they don't deserve a football team. This organization is a disaster.
I do not endorse these statements.
Have we ever seen a franchise with a guy who's coming off of back-to-back MVPs just absolutely flop harder than this Packers team?
No.
There's like 3 wide receivers on 31 NFL teams that would be better than what the Packers have.
Agreed. If Aaron Rodgers demands a trade, where should he go?
Home.
I wouldn't be upset to see him in a Giants uniform.
Yeah, all right.
But that's not realistic. That's not going to happen.
Do you think the 49ers make a play?
Dude, no, the 49ers don't make a play. There's one answer to this question and one answer only, and it's the Indianapolis Colts, because you should have to suffer yet another washed up end of his prime quarterback.
It's the karma. It's the karma for booing Andrew Luck. I mean, technically all the fans in Indianapolis deserve that.
Wow, they're taking CJ Stroud.
No, you know what the perfect spot would be? You bench Derek Carr and you send him to the Raiders.
That's so mean.
So he's reunited with Devontae Adams.
So hard for that. He would push so hard for that.
He would push hard for that. What you do is you just do a straight up trade then at that point, because Jordan Love can't play quarterback. So
the Packers don't seem to know that.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for this edition of the NFL TakeOver podcast by the TakeOver Sports Network. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any of the other great shows that we have for you here at the network. Stick around at 8 o'clock. The SEC show will be on. They've got a lot to discuss with LSU upsetting Bama, as well as the Tennessee-Georgia game. I will be back on Wednesday to break down all the midweek stories from around the NFL and preview Thursday Night Football. Until then, be well, stay safe. We'll talk to you all again soon.